Welcome back to Morning Live, and we want to focus on matters education, and as it is, it seems like it's deteriorating in various parts of the country. Now, tension gripped Gatanga CCM Secondary School in Muranga County after Form 1 student died mysteriously in the dormitory on the morning of Saturday, March 9th. According to sources in the school, Abby Noel Samuels had earlier complained of chest pains, but her complaints were allegedly ignored by the school administration. Well, there's something very unfortunate. And in studio, I'm joined by Mr. Munga, who will be now touching based on what is happening in the schools, because now, as it is, back to back, every week we have something, and this week at least, very unfortunate, back to back situations, every day now this week. And let's start with ignoring a student who is complaining of chest pains, for God's sake.
It's not even ignoring. Nobody can ignore, especially teachers. Teachers are trained in psychology, and teachers know how to know a child if a child is not himself or herself. Teachers will know. They take psychology in school. But the problem here is congestion, whereby you have too many students, too many children, and you have very few teachers trying to manage all those children. Okay. So the child may complain. You may not even hear the child complaining. Maybe the child complained to fellow students. Maybe the child never even reached the school administration. Maybe the student didn't even reach the teacher in charge. Or if he did reach the teacher in charge, maybe the teacher in charge was occupied with many other things. But I want to say this. When it comes to matters health, teachers are very well knowledgeable. They know what to do. And the only way normally is get the child to the nearest dispensary or hospital. And the government, under something called Edu-Afia, which is under NHIF, the government has given a medical cover to all secondary school teachers. Okay. The only problem is that the hospitals to take those students to sometimes becomes a problem. You can be having a medical cover to cater for all students in this country, but there are no hospitals, no facilities, or a nearby hospital where you can take the child to be treated. So the issue here is, I don't think it's carelessness. Because when you put it into context, over this weekend alone, at Longisa High School in Kericho, Bomet, a Form 1 boy was found dead in the dorm. The boy died in the night. Students woke up, went for preps, went through the morning lessons. When they came back for lunch break, is when one of them said, this guy didn't wake up and is still in bed. When they came to check, they found the student had died in the dorm. He didn't complain to anybody. Maybe it was suffocation. Maybe it was anything. But we are trying to say that those dorms are now congested. You can visit any school, any secondary school in this country. It is impossible.
Wow. This is unfortunate because now the congestion already with the systems in place. Now, of course, we have a transition in the Ministry of Education.
Transition.
Transition in the that means already everyone who sat for KCP has to go to Form 1.
To move to Form 1, yes.
Now, resources also. The transition itself, now let's talk about the hands-on transition, whereby do you have enough cooks? Do you have enough nurses in school? Do you have enough medical? It's so sophisticated.
Yes.
Now, was there a kind of a misplanning or people in a rush just to make decisions here?
And in fact, you got it very right. Leave alone just even enough cooks. Are there enough toilets? Most of the schools I'm trying to visit, especially boarding schools, if the school had a population of 600, and now the school ends up having a population of 1,800, that means all facilities of that school, including the toilets, including the bathrooms, are now strained. It simply means you are not able to cope. The number of teachers is the same, the number of classrooms are the same, the number of boarding facilities, everything else is the same. And you expect those people to live the way the others have been living? No, it can't work. You put it very well. Misplanning, mismanagement. Somebody at the Ministry of Education is not advising our government well. Our government has maybe good intentions. Maybe government wants people to have education. And maybe the political goodwill is there. But you can be good, but you don't have what to give.
It's true.
You may be a giver who knows how to give. You want to give everybody food, but you don't have it. The best thing is to own up and say, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have. I want to give, but I can't afford.
Okay.
And that is where the problem in our education system is right now.
We've touched on a student dying, medical condition, a student dying in the dormitory.
Yes.
We haven't really established what caused the death, but now other students also committing suicide in school.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that. The issue of committing suicide started immediately the Form 1s. And by the way, take note, even the one you've just reported is Form 1.
Yes.
The issue is in Form 1, most of it. This new thing about suicides and even students mysteriously dying in the dorms is mainly in Form 1. And we are asking ourselves as education experts, why Form 1? What has happened of late that was not happening before?
Yeah.
100% transition from primary to secondary. You didn't want to go to Form 1, you are forced to go to Form 1. You didn't even pass those exams, you are forced to go to Form 1. The child has no capacity to handle being in a high school, but you are forced to go to Form 1. You see, we all can't be the same. Not all of us can be Dom or can be Harry or can be anybody, a doctor or an engineer. We are all made of different capacities. So what's happening is this. You take this Form 1s, like in Butere girls, a girl took her tie and hanged herself on the bed, using the bed. A Form 1 girl. The reason they left a suicide note. He said, I'm tired, I want to go home. I wanted to go home, the teachers wanted to throw me out, and I wanted to go out. The excuses are more of, I want to go home. St. Joseph's Kitale. A Form 1 student who had just been admitted went for half-term back home. The day of reporting back for half-term, shopping had been done and everything, the boy went to the outside the compound and set himself on fire. He just poured paraffin on himself and lit the matchstick and died. He left a suicide note. I don't want boarding school. St. Joseph's Kitale is one of the best schools in this country in terms of academics and everything. But you can imagine a child chooses to die painfully because of going to Form 1. In Bomet, the Bomet secretary, NAT secretary is called Mr. Malel. He calls me last night and he sends me pictures. Mr. Munga, 2 children have committed suicide this weekend in Bomet in a school called Arer, another called Merige High School. Now, this is how they committed suicide. These students just waited for others when they were going back for evening preps in Merige High School, and the child just went and hanged himself on a tree next to the class, just outside the dormitories. Wow. Same to this other school. So the suicide thing cannot just go unchecked. These children are going through a problem psychologically. Something is wrong. And what we need is enough guiding and counseling desks in those schools.
Does it start from home or now from school now? Once this child goes to school, it's kind of a closed situation.
Yes.
He or she can't even go out. He or she can't even access the parents, maybe kind of a phone call or something. Yes. Cannot talk to anyone. Now, is it the rules are tight? Is it the environment? There's so much into this now.
It's the environment.
Because when one leaves a note, I want to go home.
Yes.
There must be something about it.
There's something wrong.
Yeah.
The issue is, many people tell you when they are in Form 1. Now imagine if you are in a Form 1 class and you are congested. Even food is not enough for you people. You may miss. I talked to a girl at a school here in Nairobi, let me not mention it. But this girl was telling me over half term that most Form 1s were missing meals. Every evening you go for supper, the older students will grab all the meals. The Form 1s with their plates on the line, keep waiting. By the time they arrive there, the cook say, food over. The Form 1 has nobody else to talk to. There are so many. The teachers are overwhelmed. They are not even there. Because a school like St. Albert's Girls Ulanda in Migori, last night we got the news. They had to employ 35 teachers.
Not the government, the school itself.
The school, PTA, the parents, employing
teachers,
teachers. 35 against 23.
The
government has only given this school 23 teachers. To cater for 2,256 students.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's even, they look at the ratio.
Okay, so the board will be paying these teachers.
The board will be paying, and most times boards pays very little money.
Yes.
They are not covered medically, those teachers. They don't have pension, and they're paid maybe 10,000 or 12,000 in a month. Meaning quality of education goes down.
Gone down.
It's gone down.
It's true that.
So simply we are saying, government surely, why can't you take this complaints? Why can't you see the trend of things and act?
Okay. Now, Professor Magoha is at the helm of the ministry. Now, do you think he'll be presented with all these problems happening right now?
Yes, the Kenya National Union of Teachers, NAT, Secretary General Wilson Sossion, has already written a letter of the effects of the 100% transition. And he has made it very clear that it is not working. There's no learning going on in those schools. Children are just there like goats. They are not teachers. There's nobody to take care of them. There's no ability. And by the way, even money for free secondary school education has not reached many schools right now. So schools are still grappling with even no funds.
And debts all over.
Debts. And then also another organization called the Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association, KESHA, has also written a damning report to the Minister of Education. Magoha has it on his desk. He has not been, when he reaches his desk, he'll find it right on his desk. Led by their chairman, Kahi Ndimuli, now is the principal at Machakos Boys. Kahi Ndimuli has just told the government, we as principals cannot run schools like this. And he has told the government, if you don't give us money and extend the dorms and add the money for free education, forget it. There's no education going on in those schools.
Someone was asking 100% transition. Now let's take a look at, for example, I mentioned a school like Alliance Boys High School. It's a national school. Now, 100% transition. A boy in Mandera got 65 marks out of 500. Will he be admitted at Alliance Boys High School?
Yes, he'll be admitted if he gets what we call, if there's no other student in Mandera, because the school has to get somebody from
now,
everywhere.
The standards of performance in the national school, are we seeing a situation whereby now the issue of provincial national schools will be abolished here, because now a secondary school, a high school is just a school?
It's just a school.
Yes.
Actually, what is happening is this. The quality of education in all those schools that you knew about, the good schools you used to hear about, has gone down. It's not, there's no quality education because of those kind of haphazard kind of policies. Policies that somebody just wakes up and says, let us do this. And somebody says, yes, let us do it. And they don't consult, they don't go to the ground, and they start something that they cannot cope with. So quality education in the big schools has gone down. The private schools are coming up, and that is why private schools, we at the Kenya National Union of Teachers are feeling that somebody in government is doing this deliberately to kill public education, so that to promote private education. Let me tell you, you will not take your child to a school like Kabarak High School if you are excess. If the class is 70 at Kabarak, that is it, it's 70. If the class is 35 at Sacho High School, that is it. Sunshine in here in Nairobi, Strathmore. So the parents are now saying, instead of taking my child to a school like, say, Alliance Boys, they rather take to Riara's group of schools or something like that.
Which is very expensive.
Very expensive, because they want quality education.
Friends School Kamusinga, still in my heart, I'm told the dormitory has been converted to actually a dining hall. Still in my heart, but let's hope things will be sorted out soon. You're now taking a short break. When you come back now, Mr. Munga will still be briefing us more about what is happening in the sector and solutions now to curb all this. All that after a short break. Welcome back to Morning Live. Well, damning reports, and it's not really sent to just look keenly into what is happening in our schools and dormitories being converted to dining halls. I'm told some schools have now erected tents just outside the school buildings. The pitch is now kind of a learning facility where now guys are actually learning from outside. It's just messed up. In studio, we're continuing with this conversation is Mr. Munga from the communications team at NAT, telling us all about this. Now, we continue with kind of a self-assessment in terms of now the well-being of a student. It starts there because now the environment is very integral in making sure learning also continues seamlessly. suicidal thoughts, suicides themselves, actually. And of course now, situation where people are just crying foul. I want to go back home. I want to do this. Sometimes people even fake sickness in this situation. Now, the well-being of a person. You had touched on like people who can come on board and kind of counsel the students. But there are too many. But the government now be able to now sort this out.
If the government can't even employ enough teachers, will they be able to get enough counselors?
Yeah.
That's the question. We need solutions because the students are dying. And you see the cases that media reports, somebody just sent me a text when we were on a break. The cases that media reports are very few.
Yeah.
The actual things happening on the ground you are unimaginable. The numbers of children just walking out of those schools, some just deciding even just to jump into a river. I'm being told here a case where a child jumped into a river.
Another one?
Yes, in Elgeyo Marakwet, because the child just decided, I'm done with school and just... The thing is this. These children are committing suicide in school compounds. Why? Because something is not right in the school compound. Something is not being done right.
Just before you continue, sorry for cutting you short, Mwalimu, but the aspect of a parent assuring his or the child or her child that come back home anytime. This is home. Does it start from home? Because I believe that should be the first place a child can, like, they would decide to go to the management or the administration and just tell them, I want to go home. I feel like I'm not really okay in school. I want to go home. And the parent also welcomes it. You know, that's now the problem. Because when you go home also, utakula vita huko pia. You know what I mean now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, should we start with the parents?
Yes. Also for me, I don't know. The parents want the best for their children.
Yeah,
but you can't blame them.
Not the hard way.
Yeah, they will want, if a child comes home, you'll entertain your child.
Yeah.
You'll want to see your child's good welfare. It wouldn't be a big issue. But you see, the moment the school is too hostile for a child to survive, the environment is too bad for that child to survive, then the question mark should not be with the parent. It should start with the school. The question is, what are we as teachers, or even as parents, yes, or as government, not doing that is making these children rebel against school? Now, another thing I want to add to you is, right now, if you are not aware, chiefs were given instructions, police officers, to go to those homes and villages to get any child who are not going to school.
Flush them out.
Flush them out and force them into schools.
Wow.
Now, that's not learning. We don't do things like that.
Okay.
Learning is not about, it's not about forcing people.
Okay.
Learning should be it should be a lifestyle. It should be something that should be made enjoyable. We should make learning process to be something that somebody can go home and say, I've enjoyed being in school.
It's true that.
Like, I like what you said. You're still a Kamsinga because you feel something at Kamsinga made you who you are.
Yes.
So you are proud to be in Kamsinga.
Yeah.
Those students who are committing suicide are not proud to be in those schools. If they were given a chance to sit where you are seated today, they don't even want to mention the name of that school. Because what they have seen there has made them want to commit suicide. So simply, something is not right in those schools.
Okay.
And when you say a dorm can be converted into a dining hall, now see, it means those children now who are sleeping in that dorm, I don't know, are they sleeping under trees now? Or what has really happened?
My director is actually joking at that situation where a dorm converted into a dining hall. The Luyas in Kamusinga are now trying to really expand the territory as far as now feeding is concerned. Yeah, all right. That's hilarious. Now, the tertiary educational institutions. Yes, 100% transition. And of course, we didn't get a clear picture on how Alliance Boys will be admitting someone who has 100 marks.
Yes. I was going to say, yes.
Yeah, we didn't really get about that because now it's a school.
It's a school.
Yeah, it has to actually admit students.
And they will admit even those ones with 100 marks or even below.
So we don't have this thing about national schools and everything.
The question now,
we
should be asking is, why did we even do Standard 8 exam? What is the need of having an exam in Standard 8?
I think we need to go down to this, man.
Yes.
Is the Lance High School Starehe Boys Center admitting students also with these marks?
They are supposed to do so under 100% transition.
Okay.
It's just that I'm sure what they are doing is that they must be trying to circumnavigate that and play around. And but otherwise, if a child is sent there by government who has 100 marks, they will admit.
Okay.
But you see, like what Stare did, when they get a child, they're also doing their own internal vetting.
Ah, okay.
But you know, other schools are not having that kind of, because Stare uses the thing that, you know, our school is not just a school, it's also a charity organization. We have sponsors who are sponsoring. But a school like Alliance, which is purely a government school, if a child is sent there with 100 marks by government through NEMIS, that child will be admitted and will start learning.
Wow. But
so quality is compromised.
Quality is gone.
It's gone. Wow. It's compromised.
So we don't brag about I was in a national school.
I was in Maseno school. Somebody will say, me, I was Maseno. Now anybody can go to Maseno. Actually, you don't need to be talking Queen's English to go to Maseno.
With 2 marks.
You can end up in Maseno. You can end up at Friends School Kamsinga, Kakamega High School. You can end up anywhere. The thing is this.
Mango High School.
Yes.
You go.
Why therefore should we even do standard 8 exam?
Okay.
Actually, the government is wasting a lot of resources now doing nothing and confusing itself. Just pick a child and say, you go to Alliance, you go to Stare, you go to Shamsinjiri, and you go to wherever you want. But there's no need to waste all that money doing an exam.
What is that name again?
Shamusinjiri is secondary school in
Hayaga. Anyway, it's a Majina. But anyway, Mwalimu, let's talk about now end product. You know, once you admit students who do not want to go to school, the end product, are we standing by for a rotten society whereby now the standards, even our economical situation here in Kenya will actually be depreciating big time?
Yes, and actually now you've hit the head on the nail, or the nail on the head for that matter.
Yeah.
The issue now is this generation is lost.
That's generation now.
It's lost.
Yeah.
And unless some things are done very quickly to remedy the situation, we are facing a bleak future.
Okay.
Whereby very soon we'll not be talking about good doctors.
Okay.
We'll not be talking. There was a time this country was feared even in the Commonwealth, because our researchers and our scientists who came from our schools, even this current 844, we have had some good writers winning that Kane Prize Award for writing. Many of them are just products of 844. Yeah. I have had no problem with 844. I am not a product of 844, but I have taught 844 for almost 21 years. And I want to tell you, we've seen some very good products. But right now, what is happening right now, this generation that you see come into Form 1, this group that you hear being talked about under CBC, curriculum-based, competence-based curriculum, the new curriculum, we are seeing a situation whereby 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we'll have a gap. We'll be importing doctors from Cuba, the way we are doing. We'll be importing teachers from China. We'll be importing engineers from Pakistan. We'll be bringing farmers and agriculture researchers from South Africa, because our schools will not have produced the people we want.
It's true that.
They'll rebel against this thing. And you'll see. Now, a very sad situation happened yesterday also in Kajiado, whereby parents entered a school with spears, with those things that people in Masai land normally carry, those rungus, and chased away the teachers. And the school was closed. Do you know why they said? The teachers are not giving children homework.
What?
They say their children who go to those schools come back home without homework.
So they
are not marking books. The MCA who led those parents into that action say the books are not marked. Now, when I called the NAT secretary in Kajiado, this is what he said. The truth of the matter is that the teachers are overwhelmed. That school has 5 teachers. Wow. But the children who are in that school are more than 1,000.
Wow.
5 teachers controlling 1,000 students.
Class 1 to class 8.
8, you can imagine. Wow. 5 government teachers.
New curriculum.
In the new curriculum. What do you think they are teaching? 5 teachers in a school of over 1,000 kids. Wow. Which homework can you give and mark in a day? How many math books can a teacher mark in a day? And we're talking about 5 teachers in a school of 1,000. So we are going to see parents doing take those kind of actions. Soon, you see, what the government forgets is this. When it backfires, the same people they are trying to please who are parents will take up the law in their hands. They'll go to those schools. They start demanding quality education for their children. And because teachers will have failed to offer, not because teachers are not trained, but because they are overwhelmed, then those schools will become useless.
Okay. Professor Magoha is coming in, hopefully very soon.
Yeah, maybe this week. I think this week.
This week?
This week.
Yeah. And as it is, you see the Section Susion has actually presented something from that.
Yes.
And all these problems, will they be addressed? You know, it will take time. Before now, sanity goes back to the curriculum, and I believe where they'll start is the curriculum.
The new curriculum.
Very, very important.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned something here last week that nearly 7% of schools haven't started.
Of course, how do they start?
That
the teachers are not trained. The new curriculum thing is not in law.
Are we seeing a
It is
situation
illegal.
like we'll go back?
Not we will. We are still in the old curriculum.
Okay.
There is no new curriculum. This is hype. It's political mechanism, shenanigans to please Kenyans that a certain person...
Have you gone on the ground and confirmed that indeed...
As I speak to you, I'm coming from Western, and I've been on the ground. There's a school called Eshivinga Primary School. These people have not... Eshivinga Primary School don't know what you're talking about.
My people have people those names.
They have no idea what the new curriculum is all about.
Eshivinga.
They don't know.
That is in Butere.
That is in Butere, Huisero, Mumias, Musalaba. You know?
Goodness.
Surely, my brother. So I can tell the viewers right now, those schools don't know. Those are things in Nairobi. That is hype at Jogoo House. Somebody must be eating some money for moving around and telling people that there is nothing going on. That is the fact.
Wow. Interesting. So, Professor Magoha's responsibility here will now to tame this, actually not to fill the porous gaps here.
Yes.
What do you think will happen with the fact that now the publishers also are so confused?
No, the publishers are smiling all the way to the bank, some of them. Because,
some of them?
Yeah, because they've been given tenders to supply books. We are told of a school has 400 students, but the publisher brings in books, 5,000 books, and writes an invoice. So the books are just there on the shelf. So he's going to be paid. Whether the students use those books, whether they have mistakes, whether they are badly printed, he has done his job, the tenderpreneurs. And that's the problem with this, with the kind of government we're having. Too many profiteers trying to take advantage of all this confusion that we have in the education system and many other places in the country. But in the education system, those tenderpreneurs have messed us completely. Ivan Nat told the minister on her face when she was trying to come up with this thing, the former Minister for Education, C.S. Amina Mohammed, the Nurse Secretary told her that profiteers and publishers are the ones who have forced government to announce that this new curriculum must go on because they are looking at losses. They were saying, like, if this doesn't happen, all the books they had printed will go to waste. Sure. So they had to force people in government, and they must have used money. They may have used other methods to ensure that this curriculum goes on, but it's not going on. So we are saying the problem is not the Kenyan public. The problem is these people behind here, the tenderpreneurs, the profiteers, the marketeers who want to take advantage of the confusion in the education sector and make profits.
Okay. Now, before you wind up, solutions to these issues that are from one side are going actually through in school. What are the solutions now to this?
Solution number one, let us have a national conversation on education. And I like this program that we have been having on this channel every now and then, every week. Let us start talking about education. Education is so crucial, so key.
Very crucial.
To the heart, to this country that we can't afford to get it wrong. All people, all leaders, politicians, media houses, we need to start having a conversation on education. And if possible, every day, and discuss way forward. Let us tell politicians now, take a backseat, because most of them, their children are not even in those schools. Allow the teachers, educationists, to also have a say in education matters. But most important and very crucial, we are asking government to fund education if they want to fund. If they don't have money, let government just be honest enough and tell Kenyans, we don't have money. We are broke, we are in debt. Let's stop this game of saying that we want to fund education freely for everybody when we know very well we don't have the money. and then drop these new things that we are coming up. Drop this 100% transition, it's not working. Drop the new curriculum idea, it can't happen, it's not working. And start afresh.
Okay.
That's
right.
the solution.
Okay. Mr. Ken Oduor is actually telling me that he's really laughed about the Western names. And nasema that Nat guy is funny with those Luya schools. Nimecheka mbaya sana. That's what he's actually texted. And of course, thanks for watching, Ken. And as we wind up, there's an aspect of belonging, because now proud. Like, I was proud to be part of this school.
Yes.
I was proud to be associated with this school. Alumni,
yeah.
Are we seeing that also eroding in our society? Like,
Actually,
you won't even mention.
You brought in a very nice point. That culture where people used to be proud of their schools is no longer there. If you looked, it's no longer there. And with the student deaths, it's telling us, when you see students burn a dorm at Kisii High School or at a school, don't imagine that they'll come out, those students who have burned those dorms in Kisii High, and say, we are proud to be members of Kisii High. No, they are not. They burned those dorms because there's a problem, at that school.
Yeah, sure.
There's a boarding problem. Actually, we are saying that sense of belonging, patriotism that used to be in those schools has faded, because those schools have let down those children.
Sure.
So the students coming out of those schools are coming out saying, when will I finish and get out of here? Because this school has let me down. It was a prison and not a school. So that culture needs to be brought back, whereby people were happy to belong to a school. But interestingly, that culture is going to the private schools.
Sure.
Those who are in Strathmore or who are in Strathmore are proud to be in Strathmore. They want to show everybody, I'm in Strathmore, I'm in Strathmore.
Thank you so much, Mwalimu. Thank you so much, Mwalimu. And of course, we'll call you here very soon again, just to talk about the progress of that sector. Indeed, it's tainted, it's stained, and things are not looking actually very good. We're now taking a short break, but of course, when we come back, we'll be having Agri Ndombi from International Labour Organization telling us what is happening in the sector. Youths are mostly affected, unemployment rates are skyrocketing. All that after a short break.